Hello, my name is Brandy Hofer, your host of the Color Me Happy podcast. I am so glad you're here. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. If you want more weekly content just like this, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We cannot wait for you to be a part of our community here, and you can join our free community on Facebook. It is about empowering your community through your creativity, and we want you to be there. I am Brandy. I am a Canadian artist, author, mother, and educator, obviously podcaster, because I'm here chatting with you right now. We talk about on the podcast everything from scaling your business from 0 to 6 figures, motherhood, lots of women's health, very unfiltered conversations there. We have on some extremely amazing guests. I don't even know how I talked to them really, but they said yes. And we want to talk about we want to empower you. We want to talk about those things. We want to empower you to reach out to people who you never thought you'd talk to, ask for opportunities that you never thought you'd get, because we want you to see your everyday as extraordinary, just as we have. We shifted from being like this ho-hum kind of victim complaining kind of person with terrible money mindset, really bad, hiding like money mindset books under my, like waddling around pregnant, hiding my mindset book, money mindset book, being ashamed of wanting money. But the thing about that is that if you want to grow, if you want to expand, if you want the life that you live, that's one of the things you need that will help you along your way. And then you'll inspire others to do the same. It'll be a really cool journey. So come along with us, and we cannot wait. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Brandy Hofer Studios anytime. I'm happy to chat. That's where I sit. And I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait for you to dive in. So give us a like and subscribe. Welcome to Color Me Happy podcast. My name is Brandy Hofer, your host. Thank you so much for being here today. We have Justine home is her handle. I had the pleasure of meeting her a few months ago in Swift Current on a project with Bella Brave, as you know her. And I'm so grateful for our time together with that group of people, as well as Bella's family. So April and I connected during that project. We had a lot of great conversations while I muraled Waylon's room, Bella's little brother. And it was so special. She has 3 girls, and I loved chatting with her. So I wanted to bring her on the podcast. She did great. It was her first podcast, and honestly, she's just an amazing human being overall, does extraordinary things. And as we know, we love to support other creatives, fellow creatives who take on the world bravely. And so you'll enjoy this. It'll be a very inspiring conversation and inspire you to take on your passions in your life. Be sure to check out our portrait class. You can use the code SUMMER to get $25 off because it's summer. It is our most popular class. Be sure to check out our portrait class right now. We have a summer sale going on. It is $25 off. It is our by far most adored class. Or because this is a DIYer podcast, we have a DIY mural class, which is very affordable, very short, very fun if you want to do a smaller interior mural somewhere in your home to renovate your space. So that's fun. And again, same code, $25 off summer. Enjoy this podcast. Thanks for being here, my friend.
They're busy, but I've watched your stories, and I feel like boys and girls are a little bit different. Like my girls are very creative and will sit and do crafts forever.
They are different. My niece comes over and she'll do 2 hours worth of I can do whatever I want in my studio and just draw next to her, and we just do that, and it's quiet and peaceful and delightful. I mean, there's a lot of talking, which I'm not used to, questions and stuff, literal talking. I'm someone's talking to me and asking me there's more talk.
but like less like explosive, destructive energy in a general sense. So welcome, April. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited that number one, you're coming on the podcast. Actually, that's number two. Number one, I'm excited to sit down and visit with you because we got to bond over if we can get through this next few sentences, we got to bond over Bella. I was the last minute tag on to the really big DIY project, the Bella Brave DIY project. And we went to Swift Current and we redid some rooms and I got to mural and you were my right-hand person. And we spent a lot of hours chatting. And then since then, unfortunately, Bella has passed away and her wake was on Saturday. But we at least got to meet her and spend time with her and meet her wonderful family and get to know each other. And I think it's a special connection we all have with that project. Do you want to talk about what that project meant to you?
Yes, and I want to say thanks for having me. This is actually my first podcast. So it was a really great weekend. I know that Siobhan, or like, I think Robin is the one that said it, but Bella was the light that brought us all together. And now we've bonded and have all these friendships after that weekend.
Those were a special few days that everyone had together. Let's talk about you and what you do. Where are you from exactly?
I grew up on a farm, small town Saskatchewan near Archerville. And after graduation, I moved to Saskatoon. And then about 12 years ago, we moved to Warman, Saskatchewan, which is basically right beside Saskatoon. I have 3 girls. They are 5, 9, and 12. And my husband and I are high school sweethearts. So we've been married here. We just celebrated 18 years, which
wow.
We got married really young. Yeah. And in 2020, like we were always like renovating, fixing, and like, what was the show called on TLC? I think Trading Up, like always putting in, like buying a fixer-upper type style house and then putting in the work and then trading up. The reason we moved to Warman was that house had more bathrooms and more rooms and better square footage. And then we actually recently moved 2.5 years ago. And the reason we moved is because it was a fixer-upper and the primary bedroom had an ensuite. So like, I don't know, we just always are looking for, I guess, slowly progressing our way up in the real estate kind of world.
Mm-hmm. And then you share it via social media in this really fun way, so a lot of people can like be along with your journey and be a part of that. Like, where are you sitting currently?
On like
in your background, is that your like secret room? Yeah.
Yes, I participated in the One Room Challenge. So it's called the ORC. It's an Instagram. That year they also moved into TikTok, but it's just a challenge to support. It's like a community of support to finish a room in 8 weeks. And this speakeasy is kind of an extra space in our house that was basically just old drywall storage / workshop that the previous owners had. And I made it into like a little hangout pub in a secret room. There's a hidden door. You have to actually go through my laundry room to get into here. So
it's so cool. Where can everyone check it out on Instagram and TikTok, right?
Yeah, my handle is April Justine Home on all socials. So
yeah, there's such like, it's so cool. Do you like, can you lift it up and like do a little?
I can do a little. Okay.
For people who are watching on video.
It like propped
so
up
awesome.
Games.
Yeah, like it's not just like a little hidden room, like it's a whole, it's so cool.
It's always a talking point to like show people, and it's not really hidden if you know where it is, but
Yeah.
I have the slat wall feature in the laundry room, so you cannot tell there is a door to get
Yeah.
into space.
No,
Yeah.
it's super fun. And you take on projects like you're doing it yourself. Like, and I love the comments where they're like, oh, there's the strangest comments you guys all get as like in this DIY group that we were part of for Bella's and Wayland's space. Like this comments you all get as DIYers as women. Can we talk about that for a second?
Oh, there's a lot of comments that you get. I've
Like get back into the kitchen, or her husband finished all of that, or like strange shit.
Yes, like you just came in for like this magical transition, but yeah, those comments, they're good for engagement. If they're really out there, then I would probably delete, but for the most part, I just don't engage in that kind of stuff.
No, I know. I like avoid stuff like I never put anything up that would like cause controversy because I hate it. Like I hate any sort of feeling like that. But then we were like got to talking that day when we were muraling, and everyone was like, and I think Janelle too, so Prairie Style Home on TikTok and Insta. So Janelle lives 15 minutes away from me. So she's the one who brought me onto the project. But she's like, and Siobhan was there too. And they're like, no, like you gotta let the haters like hate, and then people like stand up for you. And it like, oh, and Jetta was there too. We must have all just been like eating or something. And they're like, you want people to like, and then you save the comments for later. And I was like, that's a new spin on like a negative thing that can happen. Like say someone says something so that it actually does hurt, admittedly. You're like, oh, I worked for 8 weeks or whatever. And I did it. And I have this great feeling of accomplishment. And this person comes in and says something so, and like, how dare they?
Yeah.
But there's like, you're like, well, at least it is like productive in this way, and I can spin it and use it. And I like, for me, my outlook has changed on it. Like it doesn't feel as bad, or I almost expect it. Like I did one recently. Our city is doing grants for murals, and I knew as soon as I put it up in a very public page that like some people would hate on it, right? Like, how dare they put money into art or whatever when we have this and this and this problem?
Yeah.
And there were some really odd comments. And my sister and my studio manager and my very good friend were like, how do you feel about those comments? And I was like, well, I was kind of actually ready for them. And that was like, it prepared me. And I was like, they're so crazy that they're almost laughable. So no one's like going to side with them. Like rarely is someone gonna be like, oh, that person sounds sane and I believe I'm gonna go with them on that one. Right? They're almost laughable. And then it does help the algorithm, and it gets seen more.
In 2020, when I started sharing more, so my account was actually just my personal account that I eventually switched over. We started renovating my grandparents' farmhouse, and I started sharing that on my stories and then posting like before and afters. And we were doing the exterior stone feature. So like there's been lots of things. Like I had called a few home stores, and as a woman calling on the line, I needed siding quotes, and they were just like, meh, like not really wanting to give me what I'm asking. I'm like, I have all the dimensions. I just like, and the way you have that feeling when you're in that interaction on the phone with someone. And I was like, okay, fine. Thanks for not helping. And then I'd move on to the next place. Most home stores that like in person, I haven't had any like rude interactions, but I know at the farmhouse when I was actually phoning, I was like, Darren, can you just like call these places because they're going to get us the quote a lot faster if you were the guy on the phone calling. But I stuck through it and actually did all the calling and all the quotes and everything budget-wise for the farmhouse. The first reel that went viral was me working on the exterior stone of that house. So like Darren and I usually work on projects together, but he had to go back to the city for work. It's 3 hours away. It's on my family farm where I grew up. My parents built their house basically walking distance between my dad's parents.
Oh, cool.
So growing up, like I have so many memories in that house. My grandma had passed away in February. I've posted lots about it and it's been super emotional, but I'm like that's the house that we go away to and that we call it our cabin. But I posted that exterior reel and it went viral. I think mostly because I was doing an exterior project that a man should be doing. And it was a DIY product. So it was called Clipstone. And you basically screw it into your house like vinyl siding, you use nails. Well, with stone, you use screws. So that house, because it's so old, it has like your exterior sheathing and then about an inch of like blue insulation foam. And then I was using like really long nails, and the people that commented, like depending on what part of the world they're on, like the tuck tape, the color of tuck tape I was using, we just used house wrap because like we are very far away and have to plan in advance to like bring anything out there. And like it's a really old house. It was built in 68.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how long it's gonna last after this. Like we wanted to keep the budget low and we're pretty confident in our work. But that, and then the screws were too long. They thought I wrecked.
Haters were hating on you.
The water damage. I wrecked the house. That house is going to fall to the ground because I installed some exterior stone. I used a little level for every stone just because I wanted it to be like perfect. I don't know. I leveled out every stone. Someone commented on that. Like there's so many.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I could take that level of like criticism. But again, that's likely why it went so viral, right?
Yeah. And I think people like online, like on the social media world, when a reel does go viral, the reason why there's so many views is because people go through all the comments and are like entertained by the comment section. There's actual reels made.
I actually do.
People send it to do like a review of all the comments on someone's post.
Yeah, which is common. And it's been, I love the one lady. Oh, what? I don't know. I'm just terrible with names sometimes, all the time. I was going to say sometimes, but I'll try not to say it, but I just am. But anyways, the shorts that were coming out this season, and they had like extra flaps.
Yes. I've seen those reels. They're hilarious.
So then the comments on like are actually like you're cry laughing because flaps on shorts, and like they were so short that you could almost see the flaps of your And so
yes,
like, oh, it is entertaining, and sometimes it can be very positive, but sometimes you're like, oh man. And I guess you just save them and you put them up and you're like, I'm doing my thing and I'm happy, and the people I love and are supportive of me, I'm surrounded by them, and you just kind of like, it's not going to stop me from doing my next thing. And you went viral because of it. I don't know. It's a hard balance. I myself I've only gone viral for making poppycock, which is very disappointing as an artist.
Aww. We're gonna change that. We're gonna like
Christmas poppycock.
Yeah.
It was like, I love cooking, but it's like for me. So I've never wanted to monetize it. Like I've done it since my dad's a chef. My mom was a really good cook. And like you would find me in the fridge at 3, like cutting up my own food and sprinkling Parmesan on it. Like I'm obsessed. I'm surrounded. I'm looking at my deck. It's like fresh herbs and like, I love that. And maybe one day I can combine it with some part of like doing retreats and dinners or something, like combine it with creativity. But like, I don't think like it's mine and I don't want to monetize it. Like it's the one thing I get to just like put music on and do it gets ruined with kids, as you know.
It does. I love baking.
But yeah, I would love to go more. Like, I don't want to pay for ads currently. And I just posted in a couple groups on socials. And like, I'm part of the Art Queens and part of like, I put it on Gold Diggers with Jenna Kutcher because I got to be on the Jenna Kutcher podcast. And her advice was to focus on the one thing that's working. And I was like, well, portrait class is working. But I'm like, how I know it's like a scalable thing. Like it can be very successful because everyone loves it and it's so popular already. So how do I get like a viral amount of eyes on it? What's your advice for people who are in that situation?
Like for the most part online, I've stuck to just sharing our renovation. I'd like to branch out and do more of like lifestyle stuff and like sprinkling it in. I try not to like.
So you're niching down hard.
Well, I have. And now I'm like at the point where I kind of I've always started. So I started sharing for the love of sharing. And I don't want this to ever be something where it like stresses, like you stress out over all of the things. So
right.
Yeah. And I usually just plan out my content as projects go. Life right now has been super busy. We also have some rental properties too. Like we started that in 2020. So we have a turnover happening. I have to go this afternoon and hand over keys. So we have a turnover happening today. And a turnover. Well, I have another turnover here. Darren and I own it 100%. So it was our old primary home. So that one's available for September 1st. So it's on, like, I'm doing all of the things. So my capacity level is where it's at. So I kind of do things where I'm at capacity to be posting. But for those that want to post, I would say, like, if you're stick with a niche first, and then maybe branch out as you go.
So I'll tell you, I'm taking a course with my 3 sons and I wanted to tell you at the beginning, but I was like, I'll save this story for later. They want to be, and they always say it, but I don't take them seriously because I mean, whatever, but it's summer. So I'm like, I have to keep them busy. And like last week I started a swear chart, which was really a chore chart for like good and bad. Teddy's losing so hard.
I think I've seen the tally in your stories. So
that was like 6 hours into it.
Yeah.
This was like 20.
Oh man.
Anyway, so that like kind of kept us busy last week. So like they were like helping out a lot because I put good marks and then I put the swear chart or whatever because I just want to like tone the swearing down a little bit. And then I don't know how into YouTube your girls are, but like Unspeakable are these big YouTubers, and Nathan has put together, I think it's called Blueprint University or whatever. So they're like, he has a new movie out. I was like, he has a movie out? Okay, show me. So it's it's just a 10-minute long advertisement of his life, of how he became a YouTuber and how you should take his new course. So I was like, okay. And I do online courses, so I know how it works.
Yeah.
So I looked at it and it was like $79. And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
So I'm currently taking Nathan's Blueprint University on how to be, and it's basically, it is a social media course specifically for YouTube, but it's the same thing. And we watched all of it for an hour yesterday. It's not like very fun, but like fun for me because like I've taken marketing courses. I did marketing for 4 years as my job. I like it. I'm like literally like I love Nathan's course, the Unspeakable YouTuber course. And he starts with that. He's like, don't try to do everything like all at once. Niche down. And start with that one. He like start with your roots. So what do you love? And then your one branch. And then like, he's like, I stayed with that one thing for 7 years. Like 7 years, I did this one thing over and over and over again. And I've been around a long time. So it's like, I've been doing art for 20 years. So like for me to be like, oh, I'm niching down to this, it's like, oh, that's like so I'll of course share my murals and stuff when I'm doing it because it's very exciting. But if like murals are like great and cool to see, but like for people to like save and be like, I want to do that too. Like that's a very small amount of people.
Yeah.
Very small.
Well, your murals are like beautiful and intricate and like.
Yeah. Like, yeah. So I do have a mural class, but like it's the portrait thing for me, right? So like, yeah, focusing on my YouTube is like how to draw faces for probably a long time, and Pinterest, how to draw face. That's my plan anyways. And that was Jenna's advice. Yeah. And it's just hard to do the same one thing. Like as a human, you're like, but I'm so pumped about this right now, but I have to, cause it just repetition is kind of success on, but just presenting it in a different way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I also like to think like people get to know you in stories, and the follower count, like it matters, but it really, I'm more of like the engagement and like really sharing and trying to build that trust within the, like building a community on.
So important.
It's not just like an ad. Like there are some creators that are just like ad. And like, I don't know, it's not worth my time is valuable. And there are a lot of gifted campaigns. And I'm just like, I don't know how much I want to do for that. If I really need it, or if it's a small business and I want to help them out and promote it, I have accepted some gifted campaigns, but I don't know, like I've worked really hard, like since 2020 to build up a social. I want to share for me, and I'm kind of sticking to that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like the fact that, and I always say this, especially in my marketing course, is like, this is your online portfolio. It's like showing what you do and showing what you love and how you do it. And you'll get so many jobs from that alone. You don't have to sell. Like the only time I'll sell is when I'm like hosting a sale. Like today, this is my last day for my sale, which I'm like, it's over in 24 hours, but it'll be 48 because social media sometimes takes time to travel. But like, that's it. That's the only time. So like twice or 3 times a year, I'll be like, this is what I sell. But the rest of it is like, this is me. And how can you be a part of my community or my friend? Like I genuinely, like we wouldn't have met had it not been for social media. Like these are actual living people with heartbeats and friendships and connections. And that's essentially what matters in life is our journey together. And social media is there for you to connect with other people, and people forget that.
Yeah. It's what you make it. And like I started sharing in 2020. Basically within a few months, some very good friends of ours reached out and said, hey, like you're our other half into purchasing investment properties. So I only had like 200 to 300 followers, and they were all family and friends. And she reached out and we're like, yeah, let's look into it. So in September of 2020, we took possession of like a fixer-upper. It's not your average home buyer's house. Like it's not your first time buyer's house. It was a a large scale renovation, and
Oh my gosh.
some of us did it with some stuff hired out, but for the most part we did. Darren and I led that renovation. So, and then from there we've purchased multiple properties with that same couple. So we have 2 in Saskatchewan.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you're doing these as a
properties as co-owners, and then we took the leap. So when we decided to move in 2021, we didn't sell our house. We kept it as well as a rental for the most part because we had a lot of debt. Our garage was full. It is still full. And that's why the garage project is happening right now, is we need to move a garage by September 1st too. So there's a lot of things like if I didn't share anything from the farmhouse, would we have ever bought a property in 2020? And like so many things. It was meant to be. Like stuff will fall in your lap eventually. It was worth sharing to 200 people. It's worth sharing the renovation to, I think my Instagram is very close to 25,000. I don't know. I just like sharing that stuff. And maybe there's opportunities down the road. I can't predict the future. I could not predict that I'd be on a podcast right now with you. If I never linked up with the Brave Spaces crew, like it's pretty surreal looking back at where you started and where you're at right now.
Oh, exactly. And you do have to give it time. I love that. I read this one book every morning, and in it, he always says, like, there's no rush. Like, and social media can sometimes make you feel that way. It's like, I'm not doing enough. You know, it makes you feel not worthy. So I love to read something in the morning, like something self-motivational or whatever. Just that reminder, like, everything has its place and time and will happen for a reason. And you're doing as much as you can right now and do it to its fullest extent, to the best of your ability. And that is good enough. And then, you know, call it a day, look at the great things that happened that day and start again tomorrow, because it is when you're ready, those things are going to happen. I had a really big measure the other day. And I had said to someone originally, I was like, oh, maybe we can fit it in September. And then I went and measured and I was like, that's 100 feet. I was like, actually, and that's where setting boundaries comes into play too, because especially with, as you know, with projects that you have, there's no rushing things and things fall behind and it is frustrating. But you just have to like take a deep breath and, you know, and I said, I think this would be a next summer project and it will give it more space. It will be better. It will be well thought out. And so if they say no, then they say no. And that will open up an opportunity for something else that was meant to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
And things have fallen off that weren't meant to be. And you just have to kind of go with the flow, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
How
do you find balancing? So 3 children, we both have 3. How do you, well, there is no really balancing it, but like, how do you go about like getting enough family time and getting enough, because everyone wants family time, right? Like, and then balancing your business side of what you do.
I try and section things off, but our renovation is kind of our life, and then we do build in activities. I like to think that we do more activities. Part of like sharing online, I think people always think that you're busy. And the invites don't really come as often to like hang out. Like, hey, well, they might feel like not confident to send out that invite. Like, what are you doing? Probably renovating. So I'm probably not going to send them a message. But that's one part that I find with social is like people they think that you're busy all the time. As of managing things, Like day by day and what at my capacity level is. Our girls come first. We hang out, we do fun things. The renovation is not like, it doesn't always come first. If there's a deadline, we know how to push through and get a project done quickly. But after those big house renovations in 2021, I knew that we wanted to do the project slow. Like, we're not doing this house in 3 months. Like, that's what we did when we renovated those houses. And there was not much of a social life, and the girls came with us to those renovations for the most part.
Were you burnt out? Were you guys burnt out?
I would say more or less Darren was probably more burnt out than I was. And then also I always took the girls and did the bedtime routine and stuff like that, which is also, we weren't around as like, he was renovating late at night till 11 to midnight some nights, and then going to work in the morning. So we knew, like, we've stepped back. Like, I don't want to do that.
What that felt like.
Yeah, we'll hire out. It's not always, even though I have like a DIY page, there are some things you should just hire out, and you have to value and like assess your time and the worth of that time when you're going through those projects. So I say, like, we're balancing things really well right now. I'm a full-time teacher. So right now it's summertime. If you asked me in June, this school year was super stressful and just kind of felt like the 2020 year. Like, it was just not great for us in Saskatchewan right now, because we had this going on and work to rule. And it was, as a mom, having to deal with schedules for my kids. And then also as a teacher, like, we had different schedules, and then the projects around the house don't happen, and you're thinking about all these things. I have instilled like a really good routine. If I stick to a routine, I can handle those things on a day-to-day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot all at once. I didn't know you were full-time teaching too.
I am, my main income is a full-time teacher. So this is kind of my passion project, sharing a renovation. It always has been. At times, like, social media can be super overwhelming, and you see all these projects happening fast, and that's not real life. It's not real life. There's people never share about the budgets. Like, sure, I could have an $80,000 kitchen tomorrow, but I don't have $80,000 to put into my kitchen right now. So we are at the 1-year mark of our kitchen renovation, and I am doing it as the budget allows, because I don't want money to be a stress for where we're at in our primary home, right? We want to do things. We want to go on a family vacation. We want to do all those things. So there's like definitely some balancing. I have a lot of on my plate, and I usually ask myself, like, what is my capacity? Like, what am I going to allow to happen for the online social sharing stuff? And I find
you do have to set those boundaries and say no. And
I'm not posting as much. I thought I could post more in the summer without working full time, but I also have I'm watching my girls full time. I have no daycare anymore, because that's a payment that I don't want to pay anymore. So, and
you want to be with them, like, you want to chill a little bit of summer, like.
Yeah. So July has been us, like, we finished that garage. We finished our exterior garage right before our anniversary, July 8th. And ever since then, we've been doing like hanging out with family and going to the beach and the movie. Katie's birthday is in July. So it's always July always goes by super fast. And I
know. Let it go away, August.
Yes. Let July be. And it's nice to kind of take a step back and just relax.
I think that's what burnout teaches us. It's like, I don't want to feel that intense again. How can I plan to try to prevent it in the future? And can I hire this out? Was it worth my time? Or can I, make that budget back somewhere else and pay that out without that same amount of stressors or missing bedtime every night? Like, I'm sure your partner didn't want to miss bedtime every night. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a lesson, I think, in burnout. Like, I would never take back my times in burnout because there's always something to take away from it and evolve as a parent, as a business person, and it helps you grow. It's like a season that was meant to strengthen you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't take it back. Like, we pushed ourselves for 2 years, 2 years, and it set us up financially to, like, we would never have
make those choices.
We would never have owned this house that we are currently in. I don't think we would have if we didn't do that. Like, it set us up financially to be able to invest in a better living situation, being able to go to the cabin more, and like, yeah, taking that time to be a family and do what we love. Darren likes to golf every Wednesday with his dad, so summer
nice.
He goes every Wednesday night to men's night, and that's his I don't know, something he looks forward to. It's what he does, and I encourage that. Like, you need your thing. You can't just go all the time, and you can't, and never compare yourself to others. Share what you can at your capacity when you can. Like, your mental health is more important than what others are going to see online all the time. So, yeah.
That's great advice. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
That is our time. Thank you for coming on today. Where can everyone find you online? Websites, socials, etc.
So I just have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, April Justine home. I have not branched into YouTube because I'm at my capacity. So
this is a real beast, YouTube. Yeah. I know. I hired out for YouTube, and now I'm just like, I don't know if it's the boys' interest in it, or like, it is a fun summer project, to be honest. Like, we won't have time because they'll all be in hockey in the winter, annoyingly. I mean, maybe they'll be YouTubing on the ice. I don't know, but they did start their channel, and like, it's kind of fun. Like, I like that they're into something, and I'm going to encourage that. Like, maybe it'll fall into nothing, or maybe one of them will like actually find their calling. And you know what I mean? Like, what if they want to do that? And here they can find out, and they're learning something. They're learning real life tools, and they're actually engaged and interested. When, I don't know about you, but like, for them to sit with me for an hour and watch and learn something, that was a very big deal. Like, and for us to have all our books out and we're all making notes, even Teddy was drawing pictures of his channel, which, like, for his 4-year-old capacity, like, it was super adorable. And they thought of their name and the branding colors, which, like, I'm kind of like, I'm in that world, so I'm fast forwarding them through it, right? Yeah. So I'm like, aren't you guys lucky that your mom knows this? And they're like, yeah. And like, it was just like cute. So they're the triple C's, because there was, the other name was taken, so I added a Z, and now they're all going triple C's. Oh. So cute.
I think it is so awesome. And like, if like editing skills and videoing, like, that's something that they will use in the future. My oldest, in June, she asked to do like a reel with a voiceover of her making cake. And I shared it to my stories, and she did so good. And I showed her in the in-app how to like edit the reel and shorten it. You can like speed things up, and it was really good. Yeah. I might send it to you in the DMs if you missed my stories. There's like, I'm like struggling with the balance of how much I want to share of my girls online on my actual feed. I do share them in stories, but I don't, like, even she's 12, and if she said, yeah, post it, but does she really know what that means? And there's a balance there too. I'm struggling in my head too, how much I want to share. But
yeah, and that's everyone's personal choice. I haven't thought about it too hard. They're just in there for sure with mine. But like the purpose behind that is I want to empower other women artists, because in the art world, it's frowned upon to be a mother. And so I want to help break that barrier. So ultimately, like sharing the fact that I have my kids in there, or like I'm attempting to balance, there is no such thing, but attempting to balance motherhood and being a creative. And so it's part of my branding and my message and what I am about. So yeah, ultimately that one out, right? And also like they do funny shit.
Yeah, they do. They're awesome.
You know?
And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that too. Like that message is so important. Like, I'm a mom of 3 girls, and all the jobs that I have, like, I'm doing it.
You're doing it and you're doing a great job, and they're a part of it. And you know, it's not like this thing that should be shameful. It's like this thing that should be amazing, and it should inspire more mothers to take on whatever creative passion, or fathers or whoever, to take on their creative passions, because like you have the power of choice. You know, maybe you don't want to be a full-time teacher anymore, right? One day, and maybe this will take over, or maybe you don't want to do that and you'll go back into teaching, right? Like it gives you the power of choice. My friend, I said we were up for time, and that was 6 minutes ago. My friend Ashley Cassens, she quit her teaching in the States, not the same salary. Yeah. So she ended up, doing murals full time, and it only took her a year to make more than she was as an educator, and she's having a blast, you know? So it's the power of choice. And so I love to empower other people to that. That's basically my main message. So thank you for coming on and sharing in your journey and all that you do. I love that you take on these massive projects, and I'm just so proud of you.
Thanks for having me. Oh, it was nice chatting. The time flew, actually.
Easy. It's easy to do like almost an hour.
Not as bad as I thought.
No, you can do many more podcasts in your future. Yeah. Okay, I'll let you get back to life. Unless you want to chat some more.
I think we're supposed to head into Saskatoon, so
you sound extra fucking busy.
Oh, you should see everything that we're doing.
Oh, I can't wait. I watch you online, so
I have a real idea, so that might be coming in the next few days. I just need to spend some time with family, do those rental turnovers, and then maybe do some filming.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm just learning to be a YouTuber with my kids. They're so extra right now. So like I'm like something needs to like distract them. And this is it. So just go with it. All right. Have the best day, and we'll chat with you soon.
Yes.
Feel free to reach out anytime.
I will.
Please know that you can always reach out at Brandi Hofer Studios on Instagram anytime, and be sure to check us out on YouTube at Brandi Hofer Studios Color Me Happy, where we are now pouring a lot of free tips and a lot of fun information and every one of our podcasts on there. We also have our book, Color Me Happy, See Your Everyday Ordinary as Extraordinary, and our Color Me Happy community on Facebook, which is free to join, where we uplift members and we do member features, as well as features our members on our Color Me Happy podcast. We can't wait to hear from you. Please share everything you're working on, and feel free to post in our Color Me Happy community any of your process shots or any questions you have for the group. We're happy to answer them in there as well. And we thank you so much for your time today. We sure do appreciate it. And have the most beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here.
If you're looking for some time for yourself to relax, release, and unwind, Oasis has the perfect space for you. They offer yoga and spin classes of all levels. Whether you are a beginner or advanced student, Oasis thrives on accommodating all aspects of the practice. Let their serene environment and gracious staff help you in your journey of peace, healing, and strength. Sign up online at www.oasishotyogastudio.com or by downloading the Oasis Hot Yoga Studio app. Feel like yourself. You deserve it.
Hello, thank you so much for being a longtime listener or a new listener of Color Me Happy podcast. We appreciate you so much. You can reach out anytime. Like I said, these are our community partners. So they help us grow as a business and a platform, and they support us in our community and beyond, and they help us work towards our vision of a better community. And so thank you for serving us and being our partners. We'd like to thank Red Bicycle Communications, Oasis Hot Yoga and Spin Studio, Brixton Shoes, and the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation. They are wonderful partners, and they believe in this vision for community as we do. So again, forever grateful for you and forever grateful for them. If you'd like to become a partner, feel free to reach out anytime. My email is art@brandyhofer.ca. Thank you once again.